Look at William the Conqueror, right? He was technically not a king; he was a dictator, but he was one of the greatest king in England history, right?
Great.
Repeat that.
Define great.
Well, he was able to end years of civil war.
Why is that? Laugh. That's
Never mind.
Okay. Oh,
Never mind. I realize how bad role models. Never mind. Continue.
Because you know the funny thing. I don't know why I'm thinking about this now. I shouldn't, but I somehow am. You remember how what was the rationale that Thanos used in his whole wiping out the whole half the world thing?
Yeah.
does this man only use cartoon movies?
Who hasn't watched this movie? They're going to spoil it for me.
The movie came out 2 years ago, woman.
If you don't know the spoilers,
Just a small part. Trust me, you're not gonna miss much. Just a small part.
Trust me, it doesn't really affect anything because it's a stupid reason.
Don't worry, it's not gonna spoil much. But the point is, he said that the reason why he wanted to do this thing is because his planet was, too many mouths to feed. There are more people than resources. That was one of the big problems. So he suggested something which would have been a mass genocide. Literally just kill half the population at random. Rich, poor, just a random murder. Of course, you know that if you were to do something in any society like that, they'd say you're a madman. But if you think about it, as crazy as it is, its rationality is sound.
to kill half of the population.
Well, honestly, his rationale is sound if you look into it. What will happen is that
The
people.
resources that remain can compensate for those who actually survive. That one person can then create additional resources.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
And
And it's morally correct. It's not. But
arguments against it is that people will just reproduce and build up back the same level of people within society. But we have discovered that as persons become more educated, which we are, what would happen is that we have less children, right?
well, the
So,
ideal thing is that we should be educated because the prime thing.
But I don't remember Thanos wiping out only idiots. He just wiped out half the population. He never specified which parts.
He didn't do it. And basically, he didn't do it. So his planet suffered. It died. His prophecy basically came to pass. He told him this would happen, and it did. So
Cause who are you to wipe out people that you are considered less or not?
No, he's not. It would be random. That's the point.
Okay, so if it is random, you're still gonna have stupid people. I know this sounds weird, but
We can't target stupid people.
I know that's what I'm saying. You can't target them. You cannot target them. You're going to have it, so you're still going to have a populate. Sorry, I'm not saying stupid people populate. You're still going to have the mistakes. I'm just saying that people still make mistakes.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it's something that Leo just said that reminds me that the population that reproduce will not go ahead and repeat the same thing. We're doing that right now because think about it. This whole COVID-19 thing, as many people have said, very similar to the Spanish flu, which is identically 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They went through that. They taught this in history. They did all these things. Yet still, we did the same mistake. If anything else, we're a lot worse because we have these
Freedom.
no mask. Yes, these crazy people. You are impeding on our constitutional rights. I'm like, what?
that's Darwinism.
Exactly the point. If you destroy half the population, there's still that problem.
The problem. You're just delaying the inevitable as
Because it's going to be random. You
Okay.
cannot control a population. And that's the thing. If you could control a population, the problem would have solved. Especially in a full
You're
society.
controlling a population. You're borderlining on a dictatorship.
Which is another problem.
You know, in all honesty,
Don't start on a dictatorship argument in a Leo.
Listen. I don't think dictatorships are bad. It's just when you have crazy dictators, it goes bad.
When have you never
listen,
had a crazy dictator?
I mean, you have plenty of kings and queens that are basically dictators in the.
No, remember, a monarchy is different from that with dictatorship.
Well, you have plenty.
Even though the concept of rule and power remains the same.
I mean, look at William the Conqueror, right? He was technically not a king; he was a dictator, but he was one of the greatest king in England history, right?
Define great.
Repeat that.
Define great.
Well, he was able to end years of civil war.
What is that? Laugh. That's
Never mind.
Okay.
This is why I asked.
Never mind. I realize I have bad role models. Never mind. Continue.
I the controversial one in this group again?
Kill a lot of people.
Wait.
Just say it.
A lot of good people kill a lot of people.
How am I the controversial one in this group?
Look at Julius Caesar.
You know what? Screw you.
Napoleon.
Alright, no more Leo. Leo is out.
I'm gonna take a walk.
Leo
Napoleon was what he called Viva Liberté.
Leo is out now because
Wait,
Leo.
what just said?
I have no idea, but I know you need to go. Go, Leo, go. Cause you just make yourself worse upon a podcast. You just prove to yourself.
Conquering doesn't sound very peaceful, I'm just saying.
This is what I have to deal with, people. I'm convinced that whatever he believes dictatorship is right or whatever, he will go for it if he had the chance. But I don't believe in those things. I mean, I understand, and it's a breakdown of society, but how do you stop the society from breaking down? You can't fix people. There's no way you can fix people.
That's why they give them.
And you can't kill them either.
I'm not saying kill them. What you do is you teach them the moral that you want them to
Okay,
pursue.
you can do that with the young ones.
Exactly.
But and I see this problem when you're teaching. Teachers only have them for 8-10 hours a day, and if they grow up in a certain society or environment, they're learning different things. They're not going to listen to what you say 8 to 10 hours. Meanwhile, next 14 hours, then they live, eat, breathe, and sleep in a certain predicament.
When you do have them within the school sector, you can teach them a certain thing that you want them to enforce. Then you can use the media in the way you want and reinforce that knowledge that you have given unto them. I know that it's going to take a very long time, but eventually what will happen is that those young children will grow up with the values that you want to instill within the society. You repeat this over a few decades and eventually you have the country that you want. It's a long-term process and nothing comes easy, but eventually you have the society that you want.
That's idealism. That's ideal, but it doesn't really work that way, because as you can see with our education system, that's not working out.
Let me interject for a minute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The key thing that you understand that learning is a twofold. Requires a teacher.
Talk up, I'm not hearing you.
Requires a student and a teacher. Requires a teacher to be willing to pass on knowledge and a student to be willing to receive the knowledge. You could be the greatest teacher in history. If the child does not want to learn, they will not learn. This is why I like to call our so-called progression through the ages as never-ending battle. Because for every step that we make a slight misstep somewhere else. Because again, even if you have, let's say hypothetically, you had these kids for, let's just say you're an upper class, hypothetically, and you had them all the time you needed to spend time with them. Yet still you're going to realize that if you had 30 of these kids, you're spending all the time teaching them everything you think they need to know. Not the entire 30 is going to choose that path that you gave them. Which goes on to another thing that every human being has. It's something that God above blessed us with. Free will. The choice to choose.
True.
Whether for good or evil, we have the choice to choose.
There's one point.
I'm going to finish the last one. So, I remember a story that one of the teachers told me. There's a child who was very bright, very intelligent, and basically this child was hustling because the community and so on they were in. It's not the kind of child could do the work. The part is the child didn't see the point. Because the amount of effort they'd have to do to make a decent living, won't equate the amount of money they'll make doing what they should not have been doing on the streets. So this survey to look at teachers and say, you have to come and work every day if you start home. Well, if you can't just spend one night and make more than you in a month. So again, how do you debate to a child to that that path is not the right path? You could say, of course, that's more detrimental. It's easy come now, but it's going to be easy go later on, quicker than you realize. But again, you're not going to think about it like that. So yes, I agree, the effort must be put in, but you are not going to have a perfect scenario where everybody gets it. Not everybody will. And these people who don't get it, they're going to have children who are not going to get it, and the cycle continues. That's just it. Or, funny enough, you know, some of the best thinkers that we have are people who grew up in these bad situations. Because they see the madness, and they're like, I don't want this to be my life. And they escape from it in whatever way they can.
Okay. There's one thing flawed in your statement a while ago. Well, really kind of something there. You said learning is between takes part with two persons, the teacher and the student, right?
Well, ideal teaching. You can teach yourself if you want.
No. Learning is an ongoing process. It's not just a teacher-student relationship. Learning is the environment that you grow in.
I made it sound like it was...
Yeah. So you still have the peer. Oh, my turn. You still have the peer. Yeah. No.
You have to your face.
My turn.
Good. Great.
Good. I'm just.
One point is like you're not making sense. I'm like, okay, I didn't say all that, but all right.
Okay. I'm saying that it's not that I'm not saying it didn't make sense. I'm saying you have a point, but your learning is not just a teacher-student thing. It's a teacher-student environment thing. So you have the parents, you have the culture, because even when you're not in a class, you still learn something. So you're saying that 30 students within the classroom, should be told is if you go in every day, you're going to learn something. If you learn, say, if you learn one person's name or you pick up a bad habit, that is still learning. The thing is, what are they learning when they're there? And that's why I am always saying that you can't just leave it on the teacher. But I'm saying it's not a teacher-student thing. You have the environment, and that's why you're going to have society breakdown, because you still have to think about where these students are coming from, what the morals of that environment is, what the morals, the attitudes, the belief system is like.
He did honestly say that, you know. Eh? He did say that, you know. I'm just saying it in a different way.
Yeah, true. But I'm just saying that one part, the teacher-student part, kind of got to me a little bit.
Okay.
But and I get your point is when you want to start with the young people and eventually years upon years, decades and decades.
I said that not.
But no, I know you said that. I'm putting it together. The two of them did work together. Jeez, Shaw. Danny, help me out now. I only want to do a chat and put on silence me. Danny, where you there? Sweet. You hear them try silence. Danny, sure. I will not be silent. But what I'm saying is,
we tire up now.
yeah. Well, you make me lost my point.
No, you lost your
You
point.
cannot ignore that you have the older set, the environment. It's not like I think that yes, you teach the students, you teach the children them, and them eventually come over and take over. There are certain things, certain rules that cannot be passed depending on the kind of community you're in. So that is the problem that we're having right now. That community rules still stand, and we can't breach those barriers. So you can teach the child as well. All you're going to have is that the child probably leave from that community and start a different one. And then you're probably going to end up having wars because that community is going to feel alienated or isolated. And that's why you have civil wars and so on breaking out. Because everybody keep forgetting that community and their rules and something there. You understand what I'm saying?
Civil wars between the society and the government, not between two communities. That's gang war.
They're going if I teach it, what kind of war it is, civil war, there's going to be some kind of misunderstanding and somebody feels threatened. Yeah, conflict, and somebody feels threatened some way, somehow.
Okay.
Because not everybody is going to be in that classroom, like I said, that's going to learn from that person. They're going to learn from their community and they're going to follow the community beliefs.
Slow down, we need to understand what you say.
They're going to follow that. You not understand what I'm getting? Yeah, but did I lose you guys?
No, trust me, I get it.
We're on their page.
Okay. I'm just saying, I understand you're saying with the young persons, but there needs to be something in place to help. Not breach, I wouldn't say break or breach, but something to assist with that barrier within those communities.
You want to know something funny?
Not
Mikhail?
dictatorship way.
You know what's funny, Mikhail? When you were giving an analogy about the child that can make the money in 1 month, and you said what you're going to tell them to let them stop it, in my mind, I just teach the child to invest the money if they don't do it again.
Oh God, that's brilliant. Just invest the money so you don't have to do that again.
Exactly.
Make the money work for them, you don't have to work again, like when they know how to work already.
Exactly. Yeah, so let me teach you about investing, son.
Okay, then suppose I had 10 children, because I could afford
Can you
it.
afford 10 children? That's the question. Can you afford 10 children?
If I could afford 10 children at the time I had
You
10.
can have 10
Let me talk.